Welcome, everybody, to the new series here at Lanes Raceway, October the 1st, the Four Crowns. Of course, that'll be starting a little bit later on. Right now, we're running our GRC class series here, and it is a standalone series outside of the Four Crowns, and we can see Weston and Jackson back from the Rookie Series, which is kind of somewhat of a continuation to the Rookie Series that we had before, except we don't call it a Rookie Series anymore. We call it a GRC Series, and there's a lot of races. So on Thursday nights you can race, and possibly two times during the week you can race here on Sunday. So we're fixing to get up underway. I gotta make sure that the chat and stuff is up, ready to go, and everything's on the up and working with that. Once we get that going, we're going to go out there to the guys and let them know to get ready, and then we're going to get started. Racers, remember, if you come off the track, you must put your car exactly where it is right now in front of the start finish line. There's going to be a half a second delay once hit the button, so if you see a person reach for that button, make sure that you're paying attention because you might wreck into them. After that, there'll be a second delay before it comes back on. Those that are on the far left will do the high banks, and those that are on the far right will do dead man's corner. So get your controller ready and watch your lights. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Guys are getting ready. Two people today. Several people not going to make it here till later on this evening, as they've got previous plans and stuff. So as we see there, already a wreck there in dead man's corner as Jackson takes off in a dead sprint to go get his car put back on before the start finish line. Doesn't matter who's involved in the wreck, whoever's off their lane, they have to put it in front of there. That's how it goes. And that's with all of our series in the Four Crowns here. Puts the power in the racer's hands. And also, I think it's a little bit beneficial as it makes them not want to wreck each other because nobody really wants to have to wait for somebody to put their car back on. So we can see a pretty tight little race here right now between Jackson and Weston. I mean, neck and neck here. Down low, we have Jackson in his yellow car. Up high, in the hyper yellow and blue, we have Weston on red lane. And it's a little bit of a give and take, like Jackson's almost putting a little bit of intimidation there to the best of his ability on Weston, hoping that Weston might crash. Weston there almost looks like he's full throttle there, folks. Anyways, both of these guys here coming from the Rookie Series. Jackson, of course, winning the Rookie Series, as you guys have probably seen on Facebook, his celebration where he got blasted with gold confetti. Netted him the nickname Gold Dust, as he loves that nickname. I just found out recently that Gold Dust is a name for a wrestler from the WWF or WWE or something like that. I didn't even know that existed up until I seen the picture, and then I kind of recalled it from whenever I was a kid. So we get a red flag rotation. Both these guys on the same lap. About a half a lap difference separates the two. As we go here into the track mate, we can see Jackson with 48 and Weston with 48. See Jackson there putting his lane rotation sticker on there. Speaking of stickers, coming up this October, actually starting this Thursday, there's going to be a post on Facebook from yours truly. As currently right now I'm interdimensionally locked into the fourth dimension, I suppose. And I'm gradually getting older as this month progresses through, all the way up until the 28th. And you'll need to come in around 6:30, 7 o'clock to get yourself a sticker. Once you get all four of these stickers, come and join us on the 28th. Whoever brings me those stickers first is going to get a real big prize on the 28th when we have our Blast from the Past celebration, which is kind of a little something that we do for the fall festivities. We're going to have the candy gauntlet on both tracks. We're going to throw candy all over the tracks and have the kids try to run their cars through it. And if they can make 3 laps, they'll get a big bag of candy. Pinball machines are going to be on free play. We're going to have some cotton candy for sale. We're going to have a zombie game competition. And it's, of course, going to be for the kiddos and adults alike. And we're going to have a race competition and a friendly pinball tournament. And we're going to get all those festivities. It's going to go all day long. We're going to actually come in a little bit early to do those festivities. Also, we're going to have, like I said, cotton candy. We'll possibly have some food here. I don't know if we're going to grill or cook hot dogs or something like that. And the possibility of some lemonade, fresh lemonade here also. So definitely check in on us on the 28th. When you're walking around town, I suppose, with your kiddos, stop in at Lanes Raceway and give it a go. You never know, you might come away with a big old bag of candy. So we can see the guys looking like they're about ready to go racing here. Excited to see what's going to happen with this series, fall series events. Of course, we have in the Four Crowns, we have the Ohio Valley Lawn Care Late Model Series, Fairview IT Cup Series from Fairview IT Management, and Wing Car Series here at Lanes Raceway is new, and the IndyCar Series here new, Pro Series for the IndyCar, and that's going to rotate every other week. Wing Car is always going to be on orange, and the Cup Series is always going to be on the oval, but the IndyCar is going to one week be on the oval, 1 week will be on the orange, and the same thing goes for the GRC that you're seeing right now. Of course, tonight is pretty much all oval, folks. So GRC is supposed to start at 1. We started just a hair late, but not too bad, just a couple minutes. And at 3 o'clock, we're going to start the Indy on the oval. Then following that, it'll be Ohio Valley Dirt Late Model at 5 p.m. on the oval, and then Fairview NASCAR on the oval, 7 p.m. Now, the NASCAR series and the Wing Car series have 0 drops, folks. So there is no making up these races. So you either be here or you don't get points for it. And like I said, both of those series are a part of the Four Crowns. So if you want to get crowned, you better try to make every single race on those. But every other week. So if you're a wing car guy and you're in that series, that's all you're in, then you don't have to worry about getting here tonight if that's the only series you're in, because we are not running the wing car series tonight. We are running Fairview IT Management Cup Series tonight, which is our NASCAR variant running the Eagle motor. It was actually our first series that we ever ran here at Lanes Raceway, and it was very popular, and it looks like it's going to be popular again. It's also one of our one of the 2 open series that we have. So both the Wing Car and the Fairview IT Management Cup Series are our open series, You can see them right above my head. Our wing car here, and then Fairview Cup Series right there. They are our open series. Now, with it being an open series, it just basically means that there's only very few rules that you have to slot yourself into. One of those rules, of course, being they all have to run an Eagle motor from Mid-America. And then on top of that, they have to run 332nd axle with 760 tires. Other than that, and the only reason you got to run 760 tires is that's all I'm going to stock here at Lanes Raceway. But anyways, if you have other tires, you can run it. Like I said, it's an open class. But if you want different set of tires here at Lanes Raceway, of course, we'll order those for you, but that'll be an upfront cost for sure. Now, the gear ratios and stuff is the big deal when it comes to the open classes. Of course, you guys know that. Knowing how to do those is another thing altogether, too. It's I get asked all the time, what kind of tire should I do with this gear ratio? What is this gear ratio? And it all just boils down to how you drive, how aggressive you are on the trigger, and other things also. So, as we see, 1 minute and 34 seconds left to go here. We're seeing the guys get their cars put back on. I'll be right back with you here in just about 1 minute and 30 seconds. All right, folks, we are back here. As we can see, we're going down, getting ready to rock and roll back with these guys here. My microphone stand not wanting to stand up here. There's a way possibly to make this thing a little bit lower to the ground. Probably is. Well, right now, that thing's up in the air pretty high. So work on that. Going the wrong way with it. It's reverse thread. As we can see, though, a very close little bout here between Weston and Jackson. Both of these guys right out on the same lap with one another. Weston with 109 and Jackson with 108. So we see Jackson trying his best to reel him in. Weston now just here recently, bought him a new controller, and that's, of course, helping him smooth out a little bit. Jackson not yet moved up to getting a new controller, as he really does like the rental controllers here at Lanes Raceway. Trying to run a test here real quick to see if everything's coming in on the chat. having some issues there. Always having issues, it seems, with the chat for some reason. Beyond me. Nonetheless, Weston there right now currently in the lead with 151 total laps. Jackson there in second place with 148. Now, as you guys and gals know, this series is a little bit different if you've checked our website. We will not be doing lap per point. The point structure goes from 100 down to, I believe, 80. And then it repeats, but it's a 5-point drop in each position, and basically it just helps us here in the shop be able to make quick decisions on where people are placed versus where people are not, and then we can also keep track of first, second, and third a whole lot easier that way. A minute and 27 seconds left to go as we can go back here to the oval and we can see the guys getting their cars put back up. Looks like Jackson, for the most part, they're having his car end up there in the high banks as of late. We'll see if whenever he goes down to the lower lanes, if him and Weston have maybe a swap up. 40 seconds before we get started here again. The old high banks of the orange here. As we know, we'll be running our wing car IndyCar on this track, also the GRC every other week. Freshly glued and freshly cleaned. As you can see, we're starting to build a little bit of rubber currently, as we've had a few preliminary race weekends on that track. So I'm going to be excited to see the guys move back towards the old orange track again. 8 seconds left to go as we get ready to go green. Just ran a test there yet again on another one of our chats, and for some reason or another, the chat is not working, folks. Might be able to maybe turn them off and turn them back on. We'll see if that works. Anyways, not working. Definitely got to come up with a better way to do chat. Might have to do a little bit more research on trying to find better alternatives, maybe a separate following of something outside of XSplit, because we have tried everything in XSplit and we always have such an issue with our chat. But we do like to communicate with you all, especially when y'all have questions about how the new series and stuff like that's running. We're always trying to keep things kind of fresh and new here at Lanes Raceway with different kinds of series. Very excited about the Ohio Valley Lawn Care Series late model that's coming up. And then of course, you know, after tonight, folks, we'll have a point leader in the late model series. And if you guys don't know, with that little picture down there in the bottom left hand of your screen, you can see it right here, that wing that's on that back of that late model will be someone's tonight. We are planning on putting a pink wing on them. So the next time that you see the late model series and you see a car go around there, whoever has that pink wing is your current leader point-wise in the series. Just something a little extra added to that series, as it's one of our newer series. Like I said, very, very competitive. We've had probably 4 or 5 preliminary races with it, and up until last night, first, second, and third, I believe, have always ended on the same lap, as we have a lock gear ratio in that class, and also in this GRC class we have a lock gear ratio. So we can see Weston there with 207 total laps right now, and in second place we got Jackson there with 203. We can see Jackson there gaining a couple of laps there on blue lane, but where Weston is ahead, he's actually going to the lower lanes first. So we'll see if Jackson keeps ticking away some of those laps, he might swap up there with Weston. But either way you look at it tonight, Jackson or Weston will receive 100 points, and then Jackson or Weston, whoever finishes second place, will receive 95. This is definitely going to be good, as early on they're taking advantage of not a lot of people being able to be here today. So those will definitely be some high finish races there for them, and something that they'll be able to keep as the series goes on. Now in the series for GRC, the way that we have it currently, it'll be the best of 15 races for the next 3 months. So that'll be 5 races basically a week, or 5 races in a month. And the best 15 races. Now, if they race every single race, they'll be able to drop 28, and that's if we have enough time to run 2 GRCs on Sunday, every Sunday, which that probably ain't going to happen. But the low side of it is they'll be able to drop at the bare minimum 17 total races, and be able to replace them for better finishings than what they have. A minute and 13 seconds before they go by green, we can kind of just go to the oval and notice that we don't see anybody. You know why? Because both of these guys, both Jackson and Weston, are right now in the booth with me. So folks, here's the 2 races you're seeing tonight. Weston right above my head right there. Action Jackson, also known as Gold Dust, right behind me. Guys, you want to say anything to your fans out there?
I'm gonna let you know something. Don't give up.
Well, Weston had something nice to say. Don't give up.
For real.
Action Jackson, also known as Gold Dust, very confident, as he had something a little bit more aggressive to say. Nonetheless, 28 seconds left to go. They better get back to their controllers, as we're going back green racing. If you have noticed in the background, we got a little bit of music. Please let me know if it's too loud. But it's just some kind of racing type montage that I kind of come up with, kind of selected myself, just to kind of keep intent for you guys to keep a little excited about these guys, hopefully. As intermission sometimes can be a little bit slow. Just having a little bit of music in the background kind of just keeps your focus a little bit more attentive on these racers. As we go back green racing here, we can see still Weston out in the lead down low on black, and we can see how much of an advantage he gets by being able to be on that black lane. Getting a little bit loose there in dead man's corner, but nonetheless being able to come out of it nice and clean. He's reeling in about what seems to be about a quarter of a car length every lap on Jackson. Really needing to get past him as Jackson blips up and lets him go by. Almost catches him off guard there, but he was able to make a quick recovery here. So now we see Weston there pushing ahead, but now Jackson pushing on the intimidation factor, actually driving a little bit deeper than he normally would, just trying to keep that intimidation up on Weston, in hopes that possibly Weston wrecks, and that gets him about half of a second or so to be able to gain a little bit more track time up on Weston. Because right now Jackson is doing his best to try to gain up some of those laps on Weston, as we can see about a 4-lap difference between the two. This is the kind of racing we love to see here at Lanes Raceway, the neck-to-neck racing with a little bit of camaraderie as they go through the corners, allowing each other to go by when they're on the lower lanes. I believe that you get what you give, and if you are willing to let people pass you when you're faster, that is reciprocated and very much looked on in a high light. So in other words, as we see right there, a wreck to take place as Jackson went on the outside of Weston, a very much dangerous zone to get into, getting pushed to the high side there, losing a lap. and a little bit of change there. But this is how it goes. As you see, puts his car there on the start-finish line, losing a full lap there, plus a little extra, just simply because making a bad decision to try to pass on the outside. All this type of strategy is definitely going to have to take place in this series. You're going to have to pick and choose your battles and pass when you believe that you got an opening to do so. If you don't, what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up exactly like how Jackson did right there, losing a lap, maybe a lap and a half before somebody can hit the button. So as we can see, he did lose a lap there. Now 5 laps down difference from him and Weston. Not what he really wanted to see, but nonetheless, Jackson was still able to catch another lap on Weston on purple. So he turned 57 instead of 56 there. And we're going to see that is going to be a big factor also, keeping track of those that are ahead of you. As long as you're ticking off a little bit at a time, eventually it's going to change over. Now, after this heat right here is when we're going to start seeing a little bit of a change. If Jackson continues the trend that he's been doing, where he's gaining a couple laps here and there on Weston in the given lane that he's in, we're going to see him actually now start ticking down off of that 265 of Weston. Because Weston's going high here, he's going to go on the yellow lane coming up next. Jackson's going to be down low on black, so he should be able to lap Weston a couple times here in the next heat. We'll see how things change here, unless Jackson gets a little overzealous and has a few wrecks. Both of these guys oiling their cars right now, getting them set up, cleaning their tires. We see Weston up there with his green rag, cleaning his tires with some lighter fluid. This type of stuff is going to be almost required from the racers if they plan on finishing in a good position. About a minute or so left to go, and we'll be right back with you. Racers, are you ready?
Strawberry cheese and chili.
Here we go. Watch your lights. So it looked like both the racers were ready. So we're going to go ahead and skip through and start the race. 4 red lights drop out to green. We're going racing. So we can see a big jolt of energy coming out of Weston there as he dive bombs down low on yellow, but not to be surpassed by Jackson there on the black lane as he's diving deep there on black lane now, running quite a bit more aggressively on black, taking one of those laps back now, bringing and breaching that lead by 4 laps. We'll see if he can gain a couple more here in the next minute and 30 seconds. As now Jackson for the next few heats, currently round robin 6 of 8, for the remainder will be lower than Weston. So he's got to make up 4 laps right now to be able to capitalize on a victory here at Lanes Raceway, the first victory for the GRC series. So King Kirtley himself right behind us, needing himself a 29 tooth gear, as it is lockdown gear ratio 929 in the GRC series and in the Ohio Valley Lawn Care late model series. As you can tell, our two main sponsors for this fall series and the Four Crowns is Ohio Valley Lawn Care and Fairview IT Management out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Uh, Both of these guys very much respected here at Lanes Raceway. Both of them really, really good when it comes to iRacing. So you see me put their emblems over there underneath iRacing, as both of them really put on a show when it comes to iRacing. As we can see, Jackson was able to get it within one lap. So from being 5 laps down to bringing it within 1 lap, we can see that these racers really keeping it pretty tight right now. All right, the boys looks like they're ready. All right, racers, watch your lights. And here we go, round robin 7 of 8. Might be a little loud here in the booth, possibly hearing pinballs click and clatter. Today is our last day for the pinball competition of of September, as it is October 1st today. So you have the rest of the day today to get those high scores in. Also, the iRacing competition, 10-lap iRacing competition we hold here at Lanes Raceway ends today. Also, I think the pot's up to 60 or 80 bucks, something like that. So definitely quite a few things ending, quite a few things beginning. Very, very nerve-wracking this morning as me and the wife come in trying to get things set up and ready to go. I think everything's going pretty good here. 0 drop frames, a whole lot different than what we were seeing over there at the Lemons race in Bowling Green. We were dropping frames left and right out there, but of course bandwidth being an issue that it was, in and out, a bunch of people there with cell phones and stuff too, probably soaking up some of that. Nonetheless, we got it going on. Here's a picture of my new dog. Kept us up all night too, so that was fun. I ended up having to put him in his kennel, put him in the garage where I could get some sleep. So I'm running on a little bit lackluster amount of sleep too. 38 seconds left to go. Jackson, your current leader now, as he just now makes the pass on Weston. With 1 heat left to go, these guys within 1 lap of each other. Just goes to show you how tight and how close this series is. And expect more of it. The late model series is even closer than this series. I really do believe that this series has a lot to do with what type of body you choose. Now, of course, both of these guys here running the Parma bodies. In my personal opinion, the Parma FCR bodies are the way to go. Some guys, though, actually opting to use the JK bodies. I think that, they do benefit being shorter, but they are a lot more finicky when it comes to durability. Jackson out in the lead now with 375 laps. We'll do a little bit of comparison here. We can see him kind of getting about a couple of laps on Weston here. Now, of course, Jackson staying in the game a little bit. Weston actually practicing up in the off season here in September. He's actually been in here a couple more times than Jackson, so we can see Weston maybe this series here going to maybe take a stab at Gold Dust himself, try to dethrone Jackson, maybe get himself covered in confetti as we come up in the GRC series here towards the end of the series. Just beginning though, 3 months left to go in this series, as it'll end at the end of December. Very excited for what's going to happen. We love the fall season, especially slot car racing in general. Just really, really do enjoy the fall season. As we can see Jackson and Weston there at the end of Dead Man's Corner. Looking like they might be done. Racers, are you ready? Jackson in full sprint here, ladies and gentlemen. Full sprint. He said, nah, that was not his full sprint. No, we don't want to see that, Jackson. Be careful out there. All right, watch your lights. Sometimes I forget that the green microphone controls the PA system out here at Lanes Raceway. So I'm telling you what's happening, and he's hearing it. So nonetheless, he was wanting to do a full sprint for you guys here. The last heat here for the GRC race for our 1 o'clock race. Looks like we're making good time here. About an hour is what it took to run this race. 1 hour and 1 minute and 44 seconds left to go. Jackson with a 2-lap lead. Probably going to end up taking this one home as he's got the inside line on Weston. But what a battle Weston fought all the way up to the 7th heat. Weston was your leader. But Jackson was just able to, in every one that he ran, run his own line. And he was able to just get a couple more laps advantage on Weston. Guys, teching has changed here at Lanes Raceway. And let me tell you something. With that, it comes with yours truly, the most vigorous techer known to man. And I'm going to tell you, folks, some changes are coming to Lanes Raceway. If I find that there's been any kind of tampering done whatsoever to these lower class series like this, consequences will be paid. In other words, I'll let you run the race, but at the end of the race, I will disqualify you for modifying in these lower series races that are not open. Nonetheless, for our open classes, have fun, do it. That's what it's there for. It's for people to tinker. It's for people to express themselves with, tinkering and fixing their motors and everything else. But these lower classes like the GRC that we pretty much consider a rookie class, or a very, very low-end intermediate class, we do not want that tinkering. If you grab a motor from the wall, that's fine. Don't mess with it, okay? Don't mess with it. Put the pinion that's supposed to be on it, put the spur gear that's supposed to be on it. If I find a different size pinion on it, I will disqualify you. I will let you run the whole race, and I will charge you for that race as we can, increase our pots for our racers, because I don't want to make the racers not have a good time. But I will assure you, if I find anything that's out of the ordinary, I will take a picture of it, and you will be disqualified for that race at the end of the race. So we see Jackson there with 427 laps to 424 laps of Weston. That is going to end our very first GRC race here for the Four Crowns series this fall. Now, later on tonight, if time prevails, at about a little after 7, we may have enough time to run another GRC Oval. If so, stay tuned. I'm sure more than Jackson and Weston will be involved at that point, as we're starting to see more and more racers come in now. But in the meantime, this is Donovan Curley here at Lanes Raceway. God bless you. I'll see you guys around 3 o'clock for the Indy Oval, so about another hour away before that starts. Indy's going to be underway on the oval. We'll try to get all that stuff teched and everything out for you, and we'll see you then.